Hey YouTube, welcome back. My name is Rich, and I sort of developed a problem here with my ATV, Honda 420 Rancher 2013. Along the trail, I've been hearing a squeaking. I sort of ruled out that it's the ball joint or the CV joint because it's like a squeak. CV joint, if I'm not mistaken, probably would have been like a knock as you're turning. But this is just a squeak. And it seemed like if I hit a puddle or got into a little bit of mud, that the squeak could go away. So it's been bothering me for the last couple of months. Don't know really what it was. I just didn't sound right. So I went and I got my jack stands and got my jack. I jacked it up here and started taking apart the left side, and I did notice that there is a little bit of scrape. And here, I'll focus you in down here. Let's see here. Alright, I hope I'm going to be able to pick this up for you. Alright, hard to see, but right along here there's a rubbing mark. Then there's another one a little bit higher than that, about a ½ inch apart. So I'm looking at everything here, and I'm just curious as to what it might be. So I see rubbing here, I see shiny, and I see shiny. So then I took and I looked back here on the back of the rotor. Let me move you around. See if I can get that on for you. Now, if you look here on these bolts, now these are hex head bolt, which goes through the disc and holds the hub on. At least I think that's what the hub is. I have a rub mark here. And the rub mark did sound to be intermittent. So as I'm going along, I'm seeing different things. So now I'm wondering, as this is passing over the caliper, if it's not rubbing on that back plate. So that's our project for today. That's what I'm going to try to do, see if I can eliminate that. So I'm going to hopefully try to take you through the steps on this, and I guess we'll do this together. I've looked on the internet. I haven't seen anything available to tell me what it could be, if anyone else has been having trouble with it. But we're going to find out. Okay, so as you can see, I removed the tire, and what I want to do now is I want to take out my cotter pin, back off on that nut. I have my impact wrench. Not sure if I'm going to be able to get that on camera or not. And then this whole hub assembly is going to pull off. I'm going to take this guard off right here. There's 2 bolts, which is on the inside. So there's one approximately right here, and then another one just down a little bit down around this way. And that'll give me access to the inside here and see what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'll do that. I'll pull the pin, and chances are the castle nut I'm going to take and do off camera. Just remember this. I mean, it's going to split in 2 different ways. You might not be able to save it, so you may end up having to get another cotter pin. A lot of times if you do it just right, you might be able to get it. save the day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what size we have there. .22. Alright, see you back in a couple of minutes. Okay, hub is off, and I do have to get the specs on this. I'm really not sure the torque that I have to get on this, but I'll get it. I'm looking through the back splash plate or protector for the disc, and I'm not seeing anything rubbing along in here. It looks pretty clean. Nothing on the rims. Nothing here. Okay, so now what I think I am going to do is I could do one of two things. I could pull the plate off of the caliper and take it down on the lathe, hook up the arc, and then just sweep a clearance in there, but I don't want to weaken that. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is, you're probably going to think this is funky. I'm going to go downstairs, I'm going to chuck this up in my lathe, and I'm going to knock off these edges here, just see if that does anything for it. How much am I going to take off? I really don't know. But I'll forge all that, take a cut on it, and see what the heck we got. Or figure out another way. But that's what I've come up with. That looks like an easy fix before I have to pop off the ball joints, get the steering knuckle off, tie rod end you're going to have to take off, which everything is solid. I mean, there's no play at all. The wheel bearing was good. The drive shaft itself isn't in bad shape at all, so this is the only thing that I really saw. I don't know if any of you guys are having that same trouble out there with your Hondas. I don't know, maybe it was just an assembly thing. Maybe, I don't know, putting shims up underneath that those caliper bolts might do it, but I'm not going to take that chance. What I will take a chance with is just knocking a little off these screws here. And there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 screws. So let me think about this, and I'll get back with you. See what I come up with. Okay. Well, this is what I came up with. I didn't end up chucking the hub. Reason being, there was no real good place to grab, and I didn't want to grab on a bearing surface. But I found that I could do it possibly another way. Hopefully another way. So, this is what I came up with. This is a screw that you saw that holds the disc to the hub. Okay? You can see the head is a little pronounced, but what we were doing is we were getting a rubbing over here. In fact, you can see it right there. There's some of the rub there. Don't know if this is it. I'm just hoping that it is. So one by one, I'm just taking out the screws and taking them down to the lathe, chucking them up, and then just putting a little more relief on them. Okay, so we're going from this to this, and as you can see here, this lip here is reduced from this lip here. So hopefully I got enough clearance off that we're not going to be hearing that again. Had a pretty rough drawing, I know. Tool makers are notorious for bad drawings like this. Started out with a 90 thousandths lip. Okay, 90 thousandths, and that lip there represents this lip here. So here to here. Not the overall from shoulder out to the end, but just that little flat, that little lip that's right there. I reduced that down to 60. So that dropped this whole face back at 25 degrees, 30 thousandths back. I'm quite sure that 30 thousandths is going to be enough if this is the root problem. So, again, just because I am a tool maker and I do this as what I'm doing is I'm putting a little bit of Dicum on this bolt. Okay, so now with the head being all purple, when I get this all back together and I start running it and I pull the wheel off to recheck it again, I'm either A, not going to hear that squeaking, or B, there could be a little bit of shiny spot where that blue got knocked off. So that's where we are now. This is number 2. There's 4 per wheel, and I will be doing the other side. So as things progress, if I feel that it's worthy for entertainment value or knowledge value to show you, I will do that. But for this right here, that's what we're going to end up doing. I'm going to blue all 4 of these screws, and I know it's hard to tell, but you can really see how that there to there. So that's dropped back a considerable amount. I'm hoping that I didn't weaken this screw out. Well, time will tell. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, so welcome back. So what I've done is I've blued the top of the screws. We've already reviewed that. And I also blued the inside of the caliper where I think it possibly could be running. I just hand tightened the acorn nut. Did not put the cotter pin in. I got to get the torque specs on that. Also got to get the torque specs on the calipers and everything. This is basically just putting it together. It's just a dry run to see if I removed all of the squeak coming out of this machine. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, off camera, I'm just going to put the caliper back onto the rotor. I might not even do the shield just yet, because I just want to make sure that that squeak is gone. Okay, so I'll bring it back when all that's done, and we'll give it a test, see how everything goes. Okay, so welcome back. I think we have positive results coming out of this. Hopefully you can see this. I hope you can. Okay, so what we have, let me get my pointer here, my scribe, the bluing here. So if I was to see any of the rubbing going on, it was going to be coming from here, this area in here, because that's where it was showing up prior to this. And so there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm not seeing any wear marks on that. Caliper is probably going to be so far out of focus for you guys, but let me spin you around here. Okay. So now if we were going to be seeing wear, it was showing up in here. In fact, you can, I don't know if you're able to see, but that's what it would look like if I was getting a scrape from those bolts, and I'm not. It was just true blue. So what does that mean? Full assembly. Put the brake hose back in its support, put the caliper back on, put the guard up on front, back on it, reinstall the lugs, retorque everything, and this is probably going to torque out at about 100 and some odd foot-pounds, maybe 120 foot-pounds, I'm not sure. What I'm going to do is, when I drop it down, is I'm going to take and do it at 120 and then just figure out where my next hole is for my cotter pin, and that's how I'm going to do it until I can get the torque specs, because without really knowing, tight is better than loose. So we'll get that done and figure it out from there. Alright, this is going to do it for this side. I'm going to take apart the other side, but I'm not sure if I'm going to bring you on board. So if I don't see you, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. And if you like the video, give me a heads up. Drop me a comment. More than happy to answer all my comments. Alright guys. Well, thank you and have a good day. Okay, sorry to keep doing this in segments for you guys. Put the tire back on. That only gives me a little more ease of spinning the spindle here. Seems like the noise is gone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble it again, and we're going to take a look at our bluing marks. So what I'm going to do with on the other side is I'm going to blue it up before I even take it apart. I'm going to try to do that and see what happens. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to pull this off, put everything all back together again. Well, I do want to check that bluing. And then once I do that, I'll bring you back and show you what the heck is going on. Alright, see you guys in a little while.